Give me a lever, and I will move the world. These ancient words from wise men are more relevant now than ever. Today, more and more companies and individuals are leveraging technology to create great products online. The lever has transformed into digital tools. Hello everyone and welcome to Leverage, the show where we talk about building great products online. In this podcast, you will learn how to leverage product management, no-code and AI to innovate, make better decisions, stay relevant in your career, and grow your business as a company or as a solopreneur. From product managers to product builders and solopreneurs and even beyond, you will learn from the best to achieve your own success. All right, welcome everybody. Today we are talking about indie making and how to make a living as an indie maker with Martin Donadieu. Thanks for joining us, Martin.
Thanks for
Am I pronouncing-
inviting.
Thanks, man. Am I pronouncing right? Do you prefer Martin or Martin?
In English, more often Martin because people understand it better. But you can
Alright.
say it the French way. Yeah, you're French. We both French.
I will try to keep Martin for
Okay.
the rest of the episode. All right, man. Martin, you are one of my favorite indie maker and a great podcast host. A very big fan. It's truly an honor, man,
Thanks.
to welcome you here. Thank you very much. But actually, we already met, but I don't know if you remember that.
Where did
We
we
already
met?
met in a real world, in a virtual world. It was called the Lemverse.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Do you remember that? All
Yeah,
right.
but you were working at Lemlist? Oh, no, you were at Lemlist in the Lemlist Lemverse, right?
Yeah, I was in the first batch or the second batch, I can't remember. And there was like this kind of speed
Yeah.
dating thing, and we met there. And I told you, yeah, I'm
yes.
soliciting, quitting my job. Well, you see, no, I quit my job.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. All right, man. So let's get starting. Can you maybe introduce yourself and share what led you into the world of indie making? But first, I really have like a burning question, man. What's your
Let's go.
LinkedIn PFP? What's that profile picture, man? An Indian hat?
I like this picture because it triggers so many people to ask me things and get curious. So this picture is so for people listening, is a picture of me with an Indian kind of hat. And this picture came from a wedding, the wedding of my best friend. So he decided to do a wedding for the family and then a wedding for the friends, the close friends. So we were only 20 on the second one, and it was more kind of spiritual. And it was a whole story about like the people around the couple were representing kind of elements and stuff like that. So I was supposed to represent sun, and I was like, how I can represent sun? And I thought like this very like solar hat was the best way to represent sun. So that was my my wedding dress.
I love it. And you know what? One of my favorite band was like the Empire of the Sun. Remember?
Ah, yes, I really
The
like
guy has a hat like that, and Jamie Rockway too. Nice hat.
it. Ah, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I really like Jamiroquai, yes.
Yeah.
I have a
No.
question. I'm not sure it is me or it is you, but I hear you with kind of a robotic noise. So I'm not sure.
Mm,
I hope.
all right, we're back. thanks, Martin, man. You saved my life. All right, so we had the questions about like the hat, Empire of the Sun, cool. Jimmy Rockway, love them. Okay, let's start with indie making. What is an indie maker exactly, man?
For me, an indie maker is the person who decided to build stuff on his own. And usually you're like in solo or really like one or two friends maximum, but you don't. The philosophy of indie maker is you don't aim to have a big startup with 100 employee raising million. This is not this is not the journey of indie maker. Indie maker is going to make a shit a lot of money by doing things on his own and prioritizing freedom. You know, when you're on your
Yeah.
own, you don't have VC, you don't have anything. You're like free as fuck, and that's what
Yeah.
I aim for.
What motivates you to build your own product? Is it freedom, like you said?
Yes, I think I was a CTO before. I was like, so I'm a technical person, and
Mm.
I always like needed someone with me to work. I was like, oh yeah, I need marketing, I need sales, I need whatever. So I don't know how to do that. And I was like, okay, I need to create a business with someone. So for a few years, I was like going in a business with someone each time. And each time, no matter the quality of the person, how amazing they were, something was annoying me. Doing meeting with them, annoying me, like having to deal with them, to negotiate with them, annoy me. Like I posted that yesterday on Twitter. Like, I think I'm a dictator inside me, deep inside me. I'm fucking dictator.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to control with me what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, so it. But yeah, you mentioned it's mainly for freedom, but what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom is exactly what we were saying offline. Right now it's during the week and I decided, oh, let's take an hotel 20 minutes away and have chill time there. So I'm kind of not really working, just doing some podcast and stuff. And I don't care, I don't have meeting, I don't have nothing to tell anyone about the day I'm taking off or whatever. I'm just doing what the fuck I want anytime. And that's the amazing feeling.
Great, man. That sounds like a real life philosophy. What's your life philosophy, by the way?
That's
You had to put some words
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, that's not an easy question, but I think that resume easily because for me, I don't work with plan. I don't believe life is something you plan. Life is something you live. So
Yeah.
I live as things happen. I don't have to-do list. I don't have like a big plan. I have a rough direction I want to go. And then I surf the wave, and I see what is surfable or not. Sometimes,
Yeah.
if you want something too bad, but there's nothing porting you. So you're like a surfer, you're going back to the current. So it's super hardcore. And you can do it, of course. But if you start to follow the waves
Yeah.
is your life for yourself.
Surf the wave,
And
man.
yes, so surfing the wave and what did you show? It was the t-shirt?
Yeah, the wave of
Yes,
Okuzai.
that's one my favorite heart paint.
Really, man? Okuzai? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I love it. I love
Surf
it.
the
I
wave.
want it at home. Yeah. So this and the second thing, I think there are three main pillars. I will say it's like follow the wave, follow the flow, simplicity. So I believe in things shitty simple. Like if you think about something and it is complex, that means you don't think it right. For me, it has to be simple.
Okay.
Everything has a simple solution, a simple way of thinking. If you make it complex, that means everything will be complex around it. Everything will be like a mess and like annoying and like I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I
That's
build
interesting.
all system always in a simple way, the simplest, the
Yeah.
dumbest. And
Love that
lately,
clarity.
yeah, lately I'm working with an intern, and this is a young guy, And when you're young,
Yeah.
you kind of want to make things complex because it look like you're doing good. You made something like very complex, so you're like smart. But no, like the you smart when you manage to make a huge thing simple. Because
Yeah.
make
Exactly.
something simple is complex in the process, but not complex in the result. And that's what I'm
Brings
aiming for. I try
yeah,
to
it brings
find simple result with complex process to achieve it sometimes.
yeah, to bring clarity, huh? And
Yeah,
I think there's the sentence from Da Vinci, like simplicity is supreme sophistication. And I think
exact.
it's all about that. Like great mentors, great teachers can explain you very complex stuff very simplistic, and you're like you think you understood the word, you understand the word just by understanding this complex thing. That's very interesting because you mentioned you like clarity and simplicity, but as a developer, also as a business owner, you you established your company in Estonia. I remember you did that in one of your podcasts. You
Mhm.
also work with coding stuff like that. So it's very interesting to see like what is complexity. What's the level of simplicity and complexity. Um,
But
But in
Estonia is
life,
a perfect example. The process to go
hmm
to Estonia is complex, it's require you to learn
yeah,
what is Estonia, what is legal, what is not, blah blah blah. But then the result is fucking simple company, the simplest I ever been. I've built many company. I had
hmm
I don't know the name in English, like for the solo company
yeah,
entrepreneurship
yeah,
we have in France. I had that, then I had the SAS in France. This shit is super complex to run every day. It's super easy. You three click, you do it in a legal place, and you have one. Yes, amazing. But then every day, this is a shit show. In Estonia, you have to understand a bit like Estonia context and everything. So it's not very easy. But then to run every day, it's like super simple. I do nothing. Like I do 1 hour of accounting by year. Like if I don't do shit. When I do shit, like I don't declare or put the bill correctly, it took a bit more
yeah.
time, but literally he's like nothing to manage. And it's amazing. And it worked like a charm since 6 years now. I was one of the 100 first French people do that. So it was complex because no one fucking did it. But I knew by fact Estonia system is so easy and simple that I will win time later. And that is what is happening. Like I saw so many people complaining over and over. Oh no, I did wrong declaration. So this year I'm paying too much, blah, blah, blah. That cannot happen in Estonia because fucking simple.
Love that. Seeking
Yes.
clarity, seeking simplicity. I like that because
Yes.
um, it makes me think. I used to ask that question at the end of the episode, but I'm gonna ask it right now. Like, what brings you joy, man? Because it's all about simplicity. You see
Simplicity
clarity.
is one thing bring me joy, definitely.
Okay, awesome.
Um, I think the three of them, in fact, like be free, feeling like I can follow my intuition anytime, like, oh, today I don't feel to work, I feel like going jet ski, today, because in front of me there are the ocean, I see jet ski, so I think after the podcast, that's what I'm going to do. And I love
Ah,
that.
nice.
That brings me joy to know, like, I don't care, like I was supposed to work, but I'm going to do jet ski and it's amazing. And Saturday I will work or Sunday I will work. I work whenever I want, whenever I feel, and not when I
Yeah.
need to. And that's
What is
bring me
like
a
a
lot of joy.
yeah? What's does like a meaningful life look like to you?
Meaningful life for me is like having your own freedom to do what you care and love in life and
Yeah,
having impact on others. Like this. But
yeah.
for the people who don't watch video, it's a tattoo. I have a tattoo of a banana tree. The banana tree is the
Brilliant.
symbol of Madeira Island where I live. And
Nice.
this is also the symbol of the NGO I'm part of in Madeira. And in this
Ooh.
NGO, we're trying to improve the island, help the locals to learn they can like do work online and not leave the beautiful island because most of people here, they teach their kids, if you don't leave, you're not going to have a good job. That's what
Yeah.
they learn. They live in fucking paradise and they think this is hell and they will never get a job. So here we go to
Yeah.
school, we go to speak to students. Like I think 4 or 5 months ago, last time I went, I got like such a so sad conversation about a kid. He was like, "What are you doing?" And I say, "Yeah, I work online. I build my business, blah blah blah." Say, "Okay, but what are you doing after that?" I was like, "What do
Mhm.
you mean?" He say, "Yeah, because
Yeah.
this is temporary. You cannot earn money online. You have to go like real work." At one point,
Man,
I was like, "What?" I was like, "My
that's
work will
crazy.
exist if internet exists. So if you believe internet will be there in 10 years, I will still have work in 10 years." And he was like, "Oh, it's possible." I said, "Yes, of course, you can find job online. You can live here and be with your friend and be happy, take care of your family and have a job online. And it's like legal. It's not like. And they really believe
Yeah.
in that. So for
Yeah.
me, I do want to have impact in the place I live and help them, like
Yeah. Living
realize
like
they
a
are,
legacy.
yeah, but it's just like the podcast, like many things I do, I share online is I want to help other people realize they can do it also. This is not
Mm.
easy, of course, when you do your own thing. Takes time when you go off track and try to find your own freedom. This is definitely a job, but this is such a rewarding job. So that's what I am aiming
Yeah.
for, like doing things
Yeah.
for
It's pretty
me and
hard to
sharing with
find.
others.
Yeah. Exactly. It's pretty hard to find. What brings you joy at work. What you like to do as work. How you can put your lifestyle at the center, and then you put the work around it. And I think we should all have like kind of a lifestyle design course, right? I think that's what I also like
Oh,
with this
yes.
movement of indie maker, indie hacker. it's all about lifestyle design first. You know, like you put your lifestyle first, and then you put the work around it. You wrap it. It's awesome, man. So, what do you sell now today to make a living? Actually, do you still sell product? Your time? What do you do?
No, I barely not sell my time anymore. So this is also the third value we didn't talk about is transparency. I have no fear of
Yeah.
being transparent about anything in my life. You can ask anything. I am brutally honest. I love this philosophy. So what I like, how I earn money right now, it's pretty easy. One day by week, I'm selling my time still to clients who are client of my software, basically. And I sell my time to them to help
Mm-hmm.
them grow their app. And that's helped me basically grow my business because what they ask me to do it each time, like they have a problem or something, I answer by doing something open source to solve their problem. So each time they pay me to do a task, I fix it in open source and I publish it, I document it publicly. So this bring me free marketing. So I'm paid to do my marketing. Otherwise, I will never do marketing.
All
So
right.
basically, that's
Yeah.
my one day of marketing.
That's clever.
And
That's
and
clever.
yeah, and this bring me like half of the money I earn, or a bit less now, because yeah, so it give me
Mhm.
4,000 a month. Like basically, it's 1,000 a day. And
Yeah.
on the other side, I have CapGo. So now this is the only SaaS I'm working on because I sold the other one I had like a cap time to buy a house here.
Oh, you sold it.
Um,
Yeah, I've seen that. Acquired. I was like, not sure. Okay.
yeah. It wasn't acquired, and I was that close to sell it on acquire, and then one of my close friends he said, "No, don't sell it to someone random. Sell it to me." I was like, "Okay, fair. If you take the same price, it
Oh,
will be easier." So he said, "Yes, no problem," and he transferred me the money instantly. So I was like, "Oh, great," because he knew the
congrats,
software, he
man.
knew everything.
Is it your
Yeah,
first exit?
yes, first one. I mean, yes, first one was successful because I had other exit. We are still not paid yet.
Okay.
But that's a story another time.
Oh, that's why you're on
Um,
vacation now.
yeah, but it was not a lot, you know. The project was making 700 a month,
Yeah.
so I sold it for 12,000,
Yeah.
and that was the amount I was missing for buying my house, basically. Because in Portugal you need to put
Oh, nice.
20% of the amount, between 10 and 20% depending the bank.
Oh, you bought a house.
Yeah,
And congrats
like a
again, man.
flat
That's a
here.
second congratulations.
Thanks for that.
Cool. Awesome.
I, I think we have the noise thing somewhere in Riverside. You can put the applause, like this.
Oh, ready. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
let you do
he didn't play.
that.
I try. I never use the feature. So
Okay.
anyway, so yeah, I sold it last year, and now I have only Captime. No, Captime is the one I sold. CapGo because obviously I managed to
Yeah.
use the same name, the same beginning. It was not on purpose, funnily, but that happened. And so CapGo is growing, and now I think since today is like $5,700 a month. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's growing like 13% to 16% every month. So it's like getting faster and
Okay.
faster. It's
It's
crazy.
good.
Like
Do you
yeah,
consider that as a
it
sign
doesn't.
of product market fit?
Oh yes, clearly. When you wake up and you have like 700 in your account more when you were sleeping, I consider that product market fit. Yeah. The thing is, my product is something you install in a mobile app. So the time to install it is kind of
Oh,
long. You
please
know
don't tell me what it is.
the process. It's a tool built on top of a technology named Capacitor. Capacitor is to make mobile app with web technology. So you can use React, Vue, whatever you want
Okay.
in a mobile app.
Yeah.
And because you use that, it's allowed by Apple and Google to update the JavaScript code without telling them you did a new update and wait for the review and look at them reviewing your app and telling you, oh, this button is not the right size, so we refuse your update. And while your update was not related to this button and you had a big problem in production, you know, that has happened to me. So I was frustrated, and
Yes.
I found that the only solution was super expensive. Uh, so I complained online about that with many people, and at one point I was like, I should do it. And people will say, yeah, please do, and we're gonna pay you. I was like, oh, great, let's do that. So yeah,
Man,
I
thank you,
basically,
man.
are you here? Temperature. Yes, yeah, I am on the phone connection, and I let the phone on the table. It's like cooking. You say temperature, temperature.
Oh no, 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 no.
So I'm making it cold, and then I will put it under the table, and it will be fresh.
Yeah, put some water on it.
Yes, good idea. So yeah, now it's safe. It should be back on track. So yeah, I
Okay.
was saying like the software I made it because of this problem I had, and I complained about it, and finally people told me, yes, do it. We're gonna pay you. So I did,
Yeah.
and it took time to start it and to understand. One thing I'm telling more and more in the podcast, on Twitter and everything is like,
Mm,
we the problem doing business is not the fucking idea. It's the problem you're a piece of shit doing business. You're bad at it. You are terrible. You know
mm,
nothing about doing business. So what you have to do is not having the right idea, is to practice doing business, and you will learn how bad you are in sales, in marketing, in every task you're gonna do, in admin stuff. So it took me
mm.
eternity to understand many things, and now it
Yeah.
start to pay off.
Yeah,
But
because actually, when you're indie maker or indie hacking, you have to have the full life cycle of a product and actually the company. So you have to understand marketing, distribution, and so on. So you have to be good. So I was going to ask you, why are we so bad at business? Answer that perfectly. Ah, it's lagging again.
man, the phone is like not getting cold.
Yeah, yeah, don't worry. Can
I will
understand.
keep it on my leg, then it will not get warm.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ah,
All right, don't worry, don't worry. All right, man. So you've built Uptime, CapGo. You've done an exit
yeah.
entirely on your own, and it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort because you are so bad at business because it requires so many skills that if you want to be a full stack entrepreneur or solopreneur, you need to master a lot of skills. So, what are the other products you launched and never want to talk about?
Oh, I did many things. Like I'm honestly having very bad memory about the past, but I did with Mark Lou, probably known on if you look on Twitter.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did landing IA. So it was at the beginning of the journey of GPT stuff. We were
Mm,
like doing, you put a sentence, a few questions, we ask you a few questions about your business, and we build a landing page for you. So with that, we
yep.
made 10,000. And then the way to grow the business, we were thinking about two different things. I was thinking about
Mm-hmm.
making a template of code, basically. And Mark was like, no,
Okay.
we need people, we are more looking for people who doesn't want to code. So he bought me back his shares, kinda, and tried this version of Landing IA with
Okay.
no code only, and it didn't work out. So then he pivoted totally to sell
Mm,
boilerplate of code, funnily,
okay.
and then he succeed, and now he
That's
has
awesome.
like a good business. Well, yeah. Before that, I did something very funny with him. I did a Naval IA. Naval IA was like a Telegram bot,
Naval
Telegram
Ravikant.
WhatsApp bot.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And basically anything about your business, and you pay by messages, like 10 messages is €3 or something like that.
like,
And I
like
think
this
we had
SMS that we used to send to.
300 exactly. And I think we
Sorry,
got
sorry.
300,000 users.
Yay.
But none, like most of them didn't pay because we got like something we didn't think about. But Naval Ravikant in India is kind of the Pope of India. Like IT people are like
Oh,
feeling
wow.
he's a god.
Okay.
And we got so many Indian guy asking
Oh,
questions,
damn.
or even the mom of the Indian guy asking question like, "My son is working in IT.
No.
He want to quit to build this business. Please help me." I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So we didn't make any money. We just lost like €500 with this one, I think, because of ChatGPT usage, and we
Yeah.
shut it down. But that
Okay.
was fun. I have so many phone numbers in the database somewhere of Indian people
That's
in working in
crazy.
IT. Yeah,
That's crazy, man. Well, that's not kind of a failure. I mean, you learn something. Um, so
no, but I never consider I have failure. You know, it's
okay,
or I learn or I win. But there are no failure for me. Like I think thinking about failure doesn't help you to go anywhere.
oh, I like that. Is it useful or not? If it's not useful, don't think about it. I like that. So yeah, maybe apply the same logic to the next question. Like, do you compare yourself to other makers?
That's a very good question. When I was younger, like 10 years ago, I was doing that a lot, and I realized I was making myself miserable by doing that.
Very laggy.
So now I am always thinking more like everyone has his own story. Maybe this guy is successful, but his mom died or something, you know, and mine is alive. So I'm more like I don't know his story, so I don't compare myself because my story is different than anyone else. Are you still with me?
Yes. I don't know. Did you hear my
Oh
question?
fuck! Now it's the computer which is burning.
Oh wait.
I will
Oh
move in the
man.
wait.
Today
Yeah,
is the day.
it's 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 too hot in Madeira now. But it was so nice
Yeah,
earlier.
man. Yeah, it's nice. I like it.
Wait, and now I can plug also the computer, so we will stay alive. I can plug phone and computer.
Oh, cool, man.
Sorry, this I am
Yeah, no worry.
I am not
I
the
think
best
it's
guest.
actually
Everything broke.
it's super rocambolesque, as we say in French. But I remember that one for years. I think. First of all, because you're one of the guy I'm listening to years, um, but also yeah, all of this technical issues. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I am back. I am in the shade. I am plugged.
Nice.
Now
We are fresh.
nothing should be yes, I'm
Nothing can stop
fresh.
us.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I was asking like, do you compare yourself to other makers?
Yes, so I think you didn't got my answer, but I was answering.
Yeah.
So basically, I was doing that 10 years ago when I was younger. Like I was comparing myself a lot, you know, like I was like 20 and I was like, oh, this guy has 19 and already making millions and stuff like that. And at one point, I realized like I'm making myself miserable thinking like that. Like this is it's like, it's trash, you know, like you never know. Everyone has his own story. So at
Yeah.
one point, I put myself in the head this sentence, like each time I'm thinking someone is going faster or whatever, I'm like, yeah, but maybe his mom is dead, you know? You don't know.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
by thinking like that is to remember myself. I don't know the story of the other person. I don't know wherever I've been, and I probably don't want to have been in the issue anyway. So let's forget
100.
about them and focus on my journey.
It's useless to compare yourself, to advancement. It's just like mental trash. Yeah. So
Yes,
don't
it
do
is.
that, guys. Exactly. And you don't know what the others are living in their life. So I think we're all doing our best with what we have, and we just can compare ourselves to our own progress, right? I think it's the
Yes, that's what I'm doing now.
more
It's like, do
safe
I am
way
better
of
than yesterday?
yeah,
Yes, that's what counts.
yeah. And do you have fun? Is it in line with your values? Is it in line with your vision? Is it in line with what you want in life? So yeah, definitely, man. So
Mm.
let's go back now to another, very practical question. Like, one of your strategies to really ship fast, to avoid perfectionism. What are some best practices or tools you recommend to accelerate this, time to market?
In general, I recommend the tool you know. That's the best. The tool you know
Mhm.
are the one you're gonna be the fastest with. On top of that,
Yeah.
on the tool you know, there are tools that are kind of require less management. So, for example, this is a big debate right now on Twitter, like, oh, stop using, for example, Vercel because it costs too much. But because you can host your server yourself,
Yeah.
I don't recommend doing that. Like, delegate the most you can to anyone, anything you can. Even it costs you a bit more, or in the future will cost you more, you don't care. Because if in the future you fucked because it cost you a lot. That means you're succeeding. You're making something that has an impact. So this is a good problem to have. Thinking, oh, you should have choose that and you should have do it all by yourself. This is dumb because while you're focusing on that, you don't have time to focus on your users and what you want to provide. So provide to the world, get feedback, get users. When you have users and problem, and you're gonna have anyway, in any direction, any choice you made at one point, if you scale, you're gonna pay for it. Any choice, even you think about it for 2 years.
Indeed.
So fuck that shit. Do it the simplest possible and ship it and see what stick.
I like that.
And measure. It's
what do you think
important.
about no-code tools then? Because to measure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You cannot improve if you're not measuring.
Yeah.
What do you think about no-code then? Because
tools,
for some no-code tools, there are
honestly,
some pretty expensive
really
no-code
like
tools
no-code.
because you have to pay a subscription. You can delegate a lot of stuff. What do you think about those no-code stacks?
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a cut here because we talked together. It was like a latency. So ask again the question.
Okay.
Let's go.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about no-code tools then? Because you said delegate as much as you can, but with no-code tools sometimes you have to pay a lot, because you have the subscription and so on. But you can delegate a lot on, the server and so on. And some people say, yeah, but sometimes you have the vendor lock-in and you don't know, then you are dependent on the platform. So if you pay a lot, you're also more dependent. Looks like. What do you think about those tech stack no-code tools?
Of course. But for me, this is a false debate. Like you're dependent on everything. Like you fucking forgot, but you're dependent on internet for your fucking business. So if internet shut down, you don't have a business anymore. If your computer shut down, you are dependent on everything. So stop like fucking around with that for me. It's like if you know no code, go for no code. If you don't know no code and you know code. But do the things you know the most. For me, no code is a very good solution. I've tried to use no code. For me, like it's kind of relearning everything, so I lose time doing that. But it's also very good. Like not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago, I helped a friend entrepreneur to do it on automatization. I did everything in N8N, and it took me like 2 or 3 days to learn this shit. But she was needing something and she cannot handle code, so I did that for her. To help her, and I did everything on that, and that's beautiful. Like you can code visually, it's like crazy, and so it's super good tool, and it costs like what, €20 a month? Like you pay a developer, you will see how much it costs. Like it's better to pay 20 a month. With €20, you don't have 1 hour of work.
Yes. Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, but the build, which is code or no code. I was trying AI to code, and actually it works pretty well. So if you use to code and you can have some help from AI, sometimes it goes as fast as no code tool. So sometimes you, as you said, just stick to whatever you master and go for it.
Yeah.
But
with AI
building
right
is
now,
just one part.
Code is like becoming so easier. So if you know a bit of the code, you can definitely do that because code will give you freedom for sure. It's like you will not have lock-in or less lock-in. So that's cool, but don't look for that. Please do not focus on that. Focus on fucking making something that is helping people. That is what you should do.
Good point, man. But so that's for the building part, right? Then you need to make sure that what you build, the product, is adopted. So do you have any distribution strategy? What's your distribution strategy there? And what are the errors that we need to avoid?
I think something I understood with time is to leverage what is your quality. For example, me, I am a software engineer originally. So I'm good talking with developers. I am good like in developer mindset. I understand them. And so for a long time, I was trying to be a normal entrepreneur, like doing B2C business or doing, but if you want to do your own business, if you target people you understand and know, it gets 10 times easier. Like I am a shitty marketer, but in the developer world, I am like on the top of the world on marketer for developers because I am a fucking developer. And I am doing marketing when no one is doing marketing. So I'm very, very good. And this took me eternity to understand, like with Cap Time, the CrossFit timer, it's for people doing CrossFit.
Yep.
I know shit how to do marketing. Each time I was doing something in marketing, it was zero impact. It was like so bad. My idea was so stupid. Nothing was working well, like you have to reach influencer, like a fitness influencer. I hate doing that, Everything I was supposed to do or I think to do were very wrong. And it took me eternity to try to have a bit of impact, and I never managed to do it. Like I spent 2 years trying to make more money. And from the beginning of the 2 years where he was making 700 euro to the 2 years after, he was making 700 euro. I could have done nothing. It will not change.
But at least
Yeah.
you learned some stuff. That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I've definitely learned.
But,
I've learned, but I'm saying like,
yep.
this is very important to know where are you competent naturally, where you understand it
Yep.
naturally, because you are part of this culture. That's helped a lot for marketing and addressing people. Right now, I'm selling something for developers, so I know to talk to developers. I know where they hang out. I know how to produce things to make feel like I'm doing something valuable. So, for example, in Capgo, I do a lot of open source for mobile apps application done in Capacitor. And so many people meet Capgo because they have used my open source tools, which is nice plugins. They help you for many things. There are 30 plugins now. I am the second or first biggest producer of plugin in the world for Capacitor. So everyone knows about Capgo because they fucking use my plugin, which is free. And then they're like, oh,
good.
This guy made that and that and that. So now we can use this updater he made.
You make your marketing inside the product. So it's kind of a product marketing led product led growth.
I never do marketing, almost never. I mean, I still do blog and SEO, but most of the things are very tech oriented. Like even when I do SEO, like I do programmatic SEO, like for example, one of the best hack I did, and like if you have a business like on the field like that is, so I'm doing things for Capacitor apps. And I realize Capacitor apps have many plugins available online, but most of them are on GitHub or NPM, and they're not really well referenced because NPM is not trying to do the best SEO ever. They just like the only platform will reference everything, so they don't care about making SEO. So what I did is scrapping NPM, find all the plugins of Capacitor, and create a tutorial page with ChatGPT of each plugin. So I have 1,400 tutorial of how to install each plugin, and that brings me 200 people on the website by day. Like
awesome.
That.
That's
Yes.
awesome, man. It's like a full content strategy just based on useful stuff and tutorials, man. That's clever as well.
Yeah.
That's cool. Man, with everything is movement, the bootstrap movement and the indie makers and indie hackers and no code and AI and stuff like that. I see more and more people, producing their own product or content and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Are we living the massification of entrepreneurship?
I think so.
What makes you think that?
I think this is like on every topic. Like right now, technology gives us the freedom to better do repetition of value. Before it was like one big Michael Jackson, for example, in music. And now there are thousands of tiny Michael Jackson, and no one will be as big as him because now there are so many ways to touch people and so many like niche and addressable niche. So everyone address kind of a niche. And so there are many artists who are gonna earn not millions like him or billion, in English is better, but they will still make very good money. And I think this is the same with entrepreneurs. Now to start a business, it becomes so simple. You can do a website for €5, some even less, and earn money, like open a Stripe account and go. Like if now, just right now, you want to create something and put it outside. You go to in Estonia, in Xolo, there are a thing named Xologo. You create a company. It's like a portable company. You create it in 5 minutes. You don't need to be a resident, nothing. you will have an IBAN, you will have everything like legally. You can create a Stripe account. So in 1 hour, you can put a page with IA out to the world and make money, where before you didn't have anything to do that, like even legally. And after 1 hour, you are out in the world to do business legally, which is insane, man.
That's insane, man. And you make me think about like a book I was reading last week, like The $1 Million Weekend. You know that guy,
Yes,
Noah Kagan. Yeah,
of
I was reading
course.
like it
He's
looks like
active a lot on Twitter.
yeah, he's a monster. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, as we said, like, yeah, massification of entrepreneurship. Everybody's going to become like a tiny entrepreneur. You can have like company of one, stuff like that. If it's that simple, like, why don't we? Everybody don't do that, you know? Like, should we all become makers, indie acres, content creator? You know?
But I think we're living something which has existed in the world already. The world was not m- led by massive things. Before we had the technology to distribute a lot, then the world was led by artisan. It was you go to the shop in your
Yep.
village. It was no supermarket. It was not big shop. That was not
Mm,
existing. It's when we had enough technology to do that, then we start to have like massive businesses. But before it was tiny, tiny businesses. And I think this is coming back to that. So more and more people will create their business, and
mm.
they will make a bit of money, and it will get harder to make a lot of money because you will have to be very, very good at what you're doing. Same in music, same in everything. You will need to excel in what
Yep.
you're doing to have like huge success. But many people will have like tiny success and be kind of artisan.
It's like we go back to craftsmanship, you know, and
Yes.
sometimes it's like a bit kind of the Renaissance, you know, like like all the artists in Firenze and stuff like that. So it looks sometimes like this movement is back, like the pendulum. You know, we knew the industrial revolution, and everybody was like in factory, like something, gathering to produce in mass stuff. And maybe we are going back to this craftsmanship where everybody
I'm sure.
craft stuff with very like qualitative tools, qualitative products designed to very niche. Actually, you've done an episode on niche product. I think I didn't listen to that one yet, but okay.
But like for me, what work a lot, I realize in what I'm doing right now, is to make it very personal. My business in my email, when you subscribe to CapGo, you receive email talking about me living in Madeira, like the
Yeah.
sun stuff. It's very personalized,
Mm.
and people talk to me directly. When I have a problem, I try to help them in Discord, and when that doesn't work, I give them a link. They book a call with me. And they're like, "Are you Martin, the CEO of CapGo?" I say, "Yes, it's me. I'm going to help you." And they're like, "Oh, wow." And it's the same feeling as the artisan. When you go and you fix your things, it's this guy. It's not like something you put it like IKEA, and you talk to someone who doesn't know what you talk about, and the next person doesn't know again, and stuff like that. And you're like, it's inhuman. And I think what we're bringing and what is important when you do solo businesses is like put your humanity first. It's
Yeah.
something very important to me. And show like, yeah, we are not perfect. We are kind of artisan, but we do it with heart.
Exactly. Great heart, great mind. And if you lead by heart, you can unlock so many things. And I really like that because my father was in construction, but he's still in construction,
Yeah.
and building houses and stuff like that. It's like also very rewarding, because you build stuff you on your own and you do things, yourself. So it makes me think about what you're saying about like the craftsmanship, and you can help
Yeah.
people. People knows you. Yeah, the media. So it's more like sometimes it makes me think like, are we living kind of all these artists? Like you don't buy a product. You don't buy a product of an artist, but you buy the artist. We talk about that one.
Yeah.
Why do you like this wave of Okuzai? Maybe because you like the artist itself. So you wanna sometimes you buy from the CEO, from Martin, more
Hmm.
than someone else. Maybe you have like another cap go on the market, but it's the one from Martin that we want. So sometimes you have this cross lines with business and art, and sometimes you have this. Yeah, I want to buy it, but from that guy. People buy stories; they don't buy products. They don't buy figures. Sometimes. So,
Oh,
makes
yes.
me think about that.
And I believe so bad in that CapGo is open source, like the whole code,
Oh yeah,
everything.
yeah.
So you can take if you want. The license say if you do a business with it, you have only one rule. It's everything you change, you have to publish as well. Because if I play transparent, you play transparent. That's the only rule.
Yeah,
You can do business if you want. Be my
I like it
concurrent.
because yeah, it creates like a win-win situation, like a win-win-win situation because everybody
Yes.
improves. It's like we build a cathedral with craftsmen.
Yes.
All right, man. Another question about indie making, like about financial instability. You know, when we met the first time on the Lemverse, I was talking to
Yeah.
you about something called the purge, the cleanse in English. I wanted you to take like 6 months to go somewhere and just build stuff. And after 2 months, I was so stressed because I left my job. I was like, okay, I need to find something now. So how do you manage this uncertainty, like not earning right now?
This is something like I have seen and I have talked with so many people who are not entrepreneur or who wanna be entrepreneur, and this is always the same topic over and over. We've built a society where we love certainty. You know, like uh, we believe people don't die now. You know, you don't die. Mostly you don't die, and stuff like that. You know, and you don't have money. You know, everyone has money. Everyone has a house. Everyone has. You know, we've built our mind into be certain, and we feel safe by doing that. When you start your journey of being entrepreneur, that's something you learn the hard way. It's like nothing is fucking certain. There are nothing certain. Money come and go. You can be millionaire next day, be like zero. There are many podcasts talking about that. Many guys, they were like making it like they are in Ferrari, and the next month they were like under the no roof. And
Mm,
that happened all the time. And so when you start your journey of entrepreneurship, that is the feeling you have to accept very quickly and to surf the waves. Some days you have money, some days you don't have. You know, this winter, I was having no money. You know, I bought a house, then I got my biggest client leave Capgo. So I divide by three my income, and I had a new rent to pay. I have to furnish my flat. It was a shit show, you know. I was struggling a lot. I couldn't go to restaurant. I couldn't go anything. Now, you know, I'm going to fancy hotel with 300 euro a night, and this winter I couldn't like pay myself like a sandwich in the restaurant.
really.
So it really depends, and you have to accept that. You know, I was sad during this winter. I was very bad, but I knew the time will pass. I will keep going, and it will get better. And now it's like better than any times ever in my life. Like right now, I have a lot of freedom, thanks to the
Good.
money coming from my business. So for me, this is something you have to accept and embrace, because I see so many people saying like, "Oh, I don't want to reach like a zero or less than 2,000, less than 5,000." If you do that, you're blocking certain things you can unlock at this moment. Because sometimes when you're in deep shit, that's where you want to take the best decision. Sometimes when you're in deep shit, that's where you're gonna do things you're not capable to do usually. Like talk to this person, you know. For example, in December, I had a debt of a company. They were owning me 12,000 euro, you know, and I was scared to talk to the big boss of the company, who was like the the owner of the one of the biggest casino online in the world, you know. And I was scared as fuck to talk to this guy because he's a billionaire, and his tiny company somewhere he didn't knew almost about that was owning me 12,000. For him, it's like his sense. So I was like, I'm scared to do that. But when I reached deep shit, you know, in December, when I had no money, my mom was at home, I couldn't even pay her anything for Christmas. I fucking took my email and sent an email to the guy. He answered, he said, I can meet you for 20 minutes in 3 hours. I stay awake until 5 a.m. to got this
Wow.
call. And I talked with the guy 1 hour, and he asked me so many questions about the business who was owing me money, because he was like not liking something was happening inside it. So he asked me many questions. I answered everything I knew. And at the end, he said, well, by the way, the accountant already sent you the money. You and your friend. My friend also was having like 10,000 as a debt from them. Oh, he didn't got paid, and we were just both ghosts. And he sent the money like right away. I was like, what the fuck? And it's because I reached this deep shit, I realized like I can contact fucking CEO of the one of the biggest casino in the world. This is fine.
Great lesson, man.
You know?
Great lesson.
Yes.
Did your
So
relationship with money change over those last
yes.
years? Yeah. In what sense?
Yeah, I think since long I really see money as a tool. So for me, it's not something you keep, it's something you use to do something. So when I earn money, I improve my health, I improve my business, and I do things. I reinvest all the time. I'm not really having like savings much. And now I will try to build it back because I start to earn a lot
Yeah.
again. But most of the time, I really use it as tools. Like when I have it, I'm like, okay, I had to do that. Let's do that. Now I'm paying people, I start to make more money. So I pay again people to do the editing of my podcast in
Yep.
English and stuff like that.
Has your
yeah.
definition of financial success changed for a period too?
Yes. Yes. For a long time, financial success for me was like making millions, like making a lot of money. And now there are a tiny difference in that where I don't believe it's making a ton of money only. It's making money with the maximum freedom towards it. So that means you're more rich for me if you make 10,000 and you don't need to work for it every day and it works. Then you make 1,000,000, but you have to fucking wake up every day at 8 and show up every day. So otherwise you make 500,000 the next day. And that happens for many people, when they don't hear for the
Golden
business,
trap.
then yes. So that's what changed a lot for me.
When is it time to go full time on indie making?
Anytime. Go for it. It will be a pain because you need to learn a lot. You need to learn a lot to change your mindset, to be a surfer of life, because entrepreneurship is the opposite of being an employee, where you have a lot of safety. So you have to understand and embrace unsafety.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's very hard. It's very tricky to change your mind because you've been, not brainwashed, but kind of, it's a reflex. So, and I think, can we find like motivation to work back in a 9 to 5 once you have tasted the first dollar or the first euro that you do online? I think it should be pretty hard to go back and say,
yeah, no, I don't think so. And it doesn't make any sense. When you start to have understand this way of living by being entrepreneur, you can set the rules differently. For example, right now, you ask me if I'm still selling my time, and I do it one day a week, but this is way different than having a 9 to 5, because right now it's like I will be available for you during this day. Whenever I want, I will answer you. I guarantee you this day I will answer and do tasks for you. You pay me well, you pay me in advance. And since I am super valuable and super like niched in my field, there are only 2-3 person as seen as me as competent in the world. So I fix my rules. So this is way better than, the same company was looking for someone full time, and I proposed a friend to me, and they were like barely wanting to pay him like 2,500 a month. They paying me 1,000 a day because I'm fucking expert.
In what skills? In what tech?
In capacitor.
In capacitor. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one job full time was like making the app capacitor and also work on the mobile code. So web, and me is just like I'm an expert and I do things no one knows how to do. And they pay me super expensive premium. And the guy they was recruiting, they were not willing to pay a penny more than the average salary in Europe.
Man. So that's crazy, because how do you weight the opportunity cost? Focusing on indie project versus freelancing. Don't you want to do like 4 days like that instead of 1 per week?
No, because the freelance cannot scale. It can scale to a limit. Like right now, I can take like 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and after that, what I'm doing. So I'm limited in capacity. The SaaS, I'm not limited. I am unlimited. I'm sleeping, I got new client. In freelance, you can sleep, but at one point you're gonna deliver something anyway, and it cannot be delivered
Yeah.
without you unless you subpay someone. I've done that a bit. I've tried, but
Mm.
this still need you at one time, to be the
Yeah.
middleman, and so it doesn't scale that well anyway.
Mm. Because I was thinking like, what if you invest, or we invest like freelance money, you know, and instead of taking bets on creating your own SaaS, you invest it. And you're like, wait until it goes up. Let's say you put that in Bitcoin. What would be the cost? Like, isn't that safer? Like to put this, for instance, you earn the money and then you invest it versus the cost of opportunity that you try to build something that might someday bring you money. How would you
Yeah.
balance that? How would you handle that?
Investing is the same problem. It's my
Mm.
get better. No matter
Mm.
what you do, like from Bitcoin, crypto to SP 500, it's still
Yeah,
mine. And more you go safer, less you
yeah.
will grow the money. So like the safest will be SP 500, where you're gonna get like
Mm.
10% maximum average. I think it's 6 over year,
Yeah,
in over 10 years.
indeed.
So you will have that, and that's not very big leverage. And if you go to crypto, this is same deal. But then
Mm-hmm.
the problem is, are you competent for that? And again, yeah, competence take time. So if you believe you can do good in crypto, good luck, for
Mm.
example. Like it will
Mm.
take skills. So better to do something you already know or have experience. Yeah, if you have work in certain field connected to what you're starting, is way better.
Oh yeah, thanks man for the advice. Um, you recently wrote on a post on LinkedIn, and actually, it triggers me a reflection. You said 99% of us will never make a living from indie making. Can
Mhm.
you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think it's because, you know, uh, there are conflicts you have believe like it's not because you can and it's easy then you will succeed. It's totally different. Like playing lottery, you can and it's easy, but that doesn't mean you're gonna win. And anything you do when you take a risk in life is the same. So it means statistically the chances are against you. And what you have to do is to work for it. That's why we're working on our luck every day. I have success now, but I have tried to be an entrepreneur since 10 years. My first project was 10 years ago. And now it start to work really the way I wanted. And it's still like a not huge success. It's like 5,700. So it's barely what I was doing as a freelancer before, like 3 years before, 4 years before. So it's not like
Okay.
immense success. It's still
Yeah.
a beginning, and I think it will grow more, but it takes time. And so I don't consider like I'm still on the success path, on the success side, because right now maybe I will miss a competence I don't have, and I will stuck at this price. The same I was stuck at 7,700. I could get stuck at 6,000, and then I will struggle with that. I will like not manage. Someone will do better and kill my business. Or many things can happen. Like Apple can change the rules, a
Yep.
capacitor can die. There's so many things that can has an impact. So I don't believe this is easy to succeed. It's easy to start.
Okay. It's interesting because I was then checking the stats on Gumroad. I don't know if you know Gumroad.
Yes,
And I checked the median, and they said like the median creator earns 70 dollar,
euro. Yeah.
yeah, euro, more or less, in 2020. So based on the total volume of 142 millions. So I checked then the creators, and I've seen that only 179, okay, almost 200 out of 46,000 made at least 100K per year. So it looked like you
Yeah.
said the Michael Jackson, but actually we still have some kind of Michael Jacksons here. Um, Huge majority, the vast majority of creators, and I do put in the same scope indie makers, they barely earn a living. Why such a disparity according to you?
I think we're going towards more and more like a better repartition of things, but it's still not the case. Like Many people don't know to use IA. Many people don't know to code. Many people don't know what is good marketing or to sales, have a financial education. Like education takes times and it's
Yeah.
hard. You have like a wrong belief, and wrong belief like to stay and stick around. So yeah, it takes times, and the only way you can you can arrive to this point for me is because we have a lot in this world, more and more like the fast retribution. Like you have TikTok, it gives you a lot of dopamine. Everything is
Yeah,
like quick dopamine.
indeed.
And entrepreneurship journey is the reverse of that. There are no quick dopamine. It's like hard craftsmanship takes years to succeed. Like sport, you're not getting sport in a day. It takes like years.
Love to
And
say.
so the same with what we're doing, it takes time. You have to fight the whole society trying to get you back to this. You have to fight every trouble you're gonna get on the way. You have to resist to that. You have to resist to your peer pressure, family pressure, find a way to make money. This is a fucking hardcore journey
Mm,
to
that's
learn enough to do what you need to do to succeed.
yeah.
That's why I
Because I
believe
was
that.
I was trying to understand why the success is so asymmetric. You know, like, is it a chance factor or a lack of work? I was like, is it you and a chance, or is it just that people don't work as much as the top creators? Yeah, I was trying to understand the yeah, this distribution.
I think it's just culture. I think the
Mm,
main factor is culture. No, in most of generalistic culture, like going so long and so deep in a way in a path which is so uncertain is against everything people believe culturally and globally. So it's very hard to resist enough because it's just a time factor. The longest you stay,
yeah.
success increase over time. So
Mm,
you have to stick. You have to stick and continue and learn and try to improve every day. But for that, you need to have a system around you to support it. A family who support you, understand you, friend who support you, understand you, like other entrepreneur to share with your problem with, and stuff like that. So you have a whole supporting system. And what doesn't work most of the time is this. You don't have a supporting system, so then
mm,
at one point you give up. And my best friend, for example,
indeed,
she's
indeed.
currently giving up.
There's
She tried for 4 years, and
yeah,
she's giving up because of that. Like she doesn't have friend entrepreneurs. She's not having like a nice surrounding. Her family thinks she's losing her life, and she's like doing the
yeah,
worst things ever. And so even she look video every day and
yeah,
learn about entrepreneurship every day. She gave up last
yeah.
month.
At a certain point, the level of stress is so high that you quit just
Yes.
too high for mental, yeah, mentally, your mental health. Sometimes you just need to break it. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
Well, that what
Yeah,
people forgot is like it's not about wanting to do something, it's creating a system that's gonna lead you there. You know,
yep,
designing a system that make it easy every day to continue. This is what is important. For example, something I do on my phone and people don't
love
understand,
it.
like I remove Instagram or I put
Yeah,
to use only the website. And they're like, yeah, but why? You cannot just control yourself. I say no, because like if you keep controlling yourself, you will fail at one point. So what I do is I create a system that do it for me. And you have to do that on everything. And entrepreneurship, you have to create a system that do it for you the most difficult part. Otherwise, you're gonna not succeed.
focus on the process, focus on the system.
Yes.
Love that. Thanks for the advice, man. This is great advice. I was thinking, like, do you think we believe and sell indie maker dreams when we talk about it on LinkedIn, X, or on podcasts like we do? Because I was thinking, do we open eyes or do we make people more blind? Or because we talk about this indie hacking all the time and we make this the world myopia. So
Narrow. Yeah.
yeah,
I think people go always for the easy belief, you know. Um,
mm,
if they look at someone successful, they will think it's because it's lucky, not because he hard work. Because imagining that is you have to project yourself into it will be so hard to commit every day in something. So I think this is kind of systemic belief of people. They tend to make the idea easier. That's make it more accessible. So I believe more and more we're gonna talk about that. More and more people will believe wrong things about it, no matter we say, you know. So, when I start entrepreneurship, like one of the biggest name on France was Oussama Amar, and he was saying
Yeah,
a lot of things about how to do and not do a startup. And
yeah,
even he was saying that I did all it wrong because my projection was wrong. So even he was saying the right things, I couldn't listen. And I think it will be the same for indie makers.
yeah, exactly. And just one thing, because you make me think about the book, and I think it's called "When to Quit," like to find the right time to let me check if that's the name of the quit. I think there's a book like to make you think like
And,
when is it worth quitting
okay.
something.
And,
Yeah,
and,
when to quit.
and every page say today.
Yeah, that's I will put the link in the description. Yeah, yeah. With the power of knowing when to walk away.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Um, let me check now. Yeah, you've interviewed like hundreds of makers in your podcast, man. Just a
Mhm.
lot of value. And for the listeners here, go check the podcast of Martin if you don't already know him.
It will
Random
be in
guy.
French, this one, but there are one in English
Yes,
now if you want. So
but
Indie Makers is in
yeah, the
French
solo.
and
Yep,
Solo is in English.
solo is great. I love it too. Um,
Thanks.
what are the common patterns you've noticed about the successful makers? What do you think they set those indie makers apart?
They are fucking autists. Like I think no, really like when you're a psychopath, you have more chance to succeed because there are things you don't get. For example, there are, I take myself as an example because like I've considered myself a psychopath for a long time, and so
Dictator,
sometimes yeah, dictator, psychopath. It's not very good CV, but
unemployable.
yeah, definitely unemployable. But the thing is, what we were talking about earlier, like the culture which is not made to be entrepreneur and stuff like that. So people who are psychopath lack empathy are more easy to go to this way because they don't understand sometimes the peer pressure. Like there are certain things they are not touched about. They're like, yeah, but you're not coming with us. You're working during weekend. And psychopaths are like, yes, and other people feel like pressure. My partner, she's also psychopath like that. She's working every weekend. Like, thank you. I got a nice drink. I think that's from my partner.
Awesome.
Um, and so she's like that. She's working every day. She's grinding. Like she has a 9 to 5. And she's also have a project and
Yeah.
balance both of them. And she's
Mm.
working every day. And for her, like this is very natural. Like she don't care. And me more now, since I have more time, I care more about people and pleasing them. But when you are like not a people pleaser, it's so easier. You're like, yeah, fuck off. I'm doing my things. You want to lose time and drink and do nothing from your life? Yes. And the others are grinding and trying to make money. If you're capable to think like that, really, and feel it like deeply in you, like you're more happy saying no than saying yes, then that will help you a lot.
Yeah, it's very interesting to have this empathy versus yeah, I would say I was going to say narcissist, but that's not the same. It's not the same at all. But I was going to say yeah. So sometimes empathy can be your worst ally. Actually, that's very interesting. That's a key insight I think here. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. What brings you happiness? If you are an empath or an extrovert and you like to enjoy talking to people, man, then maybe indie hackers or indie making is not the right thing. Or maybe you should maybe go with an associate or do something together.
Yeah.
Um, sometimes uh, isolation can be very painful.
Yeah,
So
that's the
you're
thing.
right.
Like indie maker and entrepreneurship in general is a lonely journey because more you grow and less people are like you. Like more and more now, people I met are not making as much money as I do.
Yeah,
And it's very hard to meet. Like I think I met one every 6 months, and it's kind of fucking lonely. You talk to people, they don't have the same problem. I love them. I love talk with an entrepreneur, but when they're making less money, they have different problem. I wish to have the same problem, but I have different now. and I find no one having the same. It's very hard.
It's lonely at the top, right?
It's lonely the whole way because when you start, you're trying to detach to people who are employee, so that you
Yeah.
get lonely. But there are many people starting, so it's easy to find other people starting. But yeah, more you continue the journey, it's not about climbing the top for me. It's just like a marathon, and most of
Yeah.
people don't finish the marathon
Yeah.
because it's long and hard. And if you didn't prepare, if you're not like in your right shoe with the right stuff equipped, if you're in mind, then you will just stop running.
Yeah, and we go back to the question like, should we all become like makers or indie hacker or indiepreneur, solopreneur? Well, not that simple then. I don't think it's gonna be like the massification of entrepreneurship. Yes, maybe. So are we all gonna have like a media, a product, an info product, a social network where we promote that? Maybe, but not that simple. I think.
I think what we should become all together as a society is authentic, because there are many things we do not because that's what we want, but more because we think that should be done. And
Yeah,
and this is not making anyone happy. So
yeah,
for me, being the maker is my authenticity. Like I like working on my own. I like doing things. I like talking to my clients. I like to build for them. I like this feeling of retribution when I got more money every day on my account because of the tool I provide to people. I like to fix the bug they have like super fast. This whole thing, I like it. But not everyone will like it for sure. But I am quite sure most of people in 9 to 5 IDTs right now, it is wrong. It is not
yeah.
what it's supposed to be.
Sometimes I think like, are we all like entrepreneurs at the core, at the beginning, because we've been, in the ancient world, we were used to hunt, and we are all kind of hunter at the root. And so we are all like kind of have this entrepreneurship fiber inside of us, this fabric. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, do we do the things we love, or do we love the things that we start doing? Like we said, like, you love doing this, you love creating the service, you love that because you're doing it, or you're just doing it because you loved it at the beginning.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. I think this is the eggs and chicken problem. At one
Yeah.
point you have one, and then you create the other. But for me, if you look in the past, there are many, like having a 9 to 5 and being an employee is a very new concept. It's like
Mm.
s- since like 100 years, maybe something like that, 200 years max. Before it was not, everyone was kind of freelance. So I
Yeah.
believe a world more about freelancing is possible, the evolution of what we are right now. And I think everything is going more towards that. And we will have some entrepreneurs, but everyone will have kind of his own business and independency for sure. Less
Yeah.
centralization, I think, is just about less centralization, not really about be entrepreneur in the way we think about the mindset of entrepreneur. I think now
Yeah.
we are capable to create a set of rules that everyone can have a chance again
Yeah.
because I think everyone was kind of freelance his own thing, but it was not so much rules. So at one point, some people were more smart than others, and they like crushed everyone else. So we
Mm.
created rules and make things to prevent that, but that
Yeah.
was just like to prevent a bad thing that was not supposed to happen to have like employee and stuff like that. So I think it will come back to something where the system is
Helping.
still giving a chance to everyone, but with a lot of
Mhm.
freedom like before.
Yeah, and sometimes I do believe that's another topic, another podcast maybe, but about the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. And sometimes I do
Mm,
think that a lot of people are attached to their 9 to 5 or to job because there is this safety net, right?
yeah.
And if we provide this safety net in a way or another, then maybe people will take more risk or will be a bit less risk averse. Like kind of when you go to the casino, when you go poker, I used to like
Mhm.
to play poker, but when you have like $100 in your pocket and you play for €10, I mean it's okay. But if you have 100 pockets and you play for 100, then you are more stressed. So you don't play the same game. And the
Mm.
best game for me are the one with a little at stake, little stake.
Yeah. But there are one book which really changed my mind a lot about society. The
Oh yeah.
name is The World Will Be Led by City or Mayors, something like that. I have to find back the name. But the idea is ideal society is like 300,000 people maximum. Above that, you start to have systemic problem that doesn't make sense for the current society. For example, right now, if you look in France, they're making rules that works well in certain region, but not others, like in the middle of the France, they don't care about the rules they're doing for Paris, but still the same rules. So I think we're gonna get to something lower in terms of tinier in terms of group of association of people and working. And I think you were talking about the universal revenue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is the solution, but something this direction will go. Because
Yep.
if you look at middle-aged village, there are a thing like you have the guy which is helping the elders and stuff like that, and he's not like making money, but everyone like help him because he's helping everyone else. So I think we're gonna go to this direction more and more, and I see now this in Madeira Island because it's a tiny 300,000 people island, and so now we are making kind of businesses like my NGO, for example, it's led by 2%, and we pay them now almost a salary for 2% just by subscribing with Stripe to the NGO, and they do good, and they are lead and they are paid for that. They quit their job and they're able to do that. And so I think we're gonna do more and more. Like I have a friend right now, she's super good at cooking. She's an amazing cook. She quit her job as well, and she couldn't find something she wanted. So I'm helping her to start also a business of cooking for the people in our community. And I think she will live from that. And I believe more and more people will be retributed by their contribution to the ecosystem, maybe sometimes indirectly. Like we're gonna have a pool of money for our painter, a pool of money for the guy who helped the elder and stuff like that. And people will just like self-manage instead of paying to the state where you don't know where your money is used, and a lot of money is used to just make the system happening. While if you go to a tinier system who don't need much money for just happening, then you can use directly the money to pay people, and then you have a very nice system which is like more working. The same, it's the same idea of company. When you have a tiny company of 10 people, you don't have a manager. But at one point, when you go to 100 people, you need managers. And the manager are just like system thing. They are not really like if people could communicate properly between each other, it will not be required. But because the system get bigger, then you need middlemen everywhere to oil the system. And I think this is the same as a country. We have a lot of middlemen that cost a lot, and they could be differently if we organize in a tinier system.
And you're right. That's interesting. That's interesting perspective.
But really, I will give you the name of the book, and you will read
Oh yeah,
it, and it will blow your mind.
Yeah, I will read it now. Okay, go back to questions. We completely went off the script, but that's good. I love it.
You had a script? I didn't know. Sorry.
I mean, no questions. I like to have some of them. Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Okay, we couldn't have like a podcast without talking about AI. So some questions about AI. AI is becoming like an important factor in product building. How do you see AI transforming the way indie makers build?
Man, I think my business succeeds because of GPT. I am bad at marketing, but I am good at telling GPT to do marketing for me. Blog article or improve my documentation and stuff. Like lately, I am using Cursor, which is an even better IA tool for writing code. And I think this is changing the game. I think more and more we will become director of our business and not the one who execute everything. And that's what I am doing right now in my business. Like I'm not executing everything right now. I'm like more directing everything, pushing an energy in a direction. And I think that's what people don't understand with IA. It's like many people are like, yeah, we're gonna lose job or like everything will gonna make by IA. But right now, how the way we build IA, it's responsive tool. It responds to something, to an input.
Mm.
So we have to give this input, this direction. And I think our job will be more and more to give this input, the same as if you look way before, like when you have a pen is like can write a book, you can make books with it, but
Yeah.
you have to give the inputs to it. You have to give the direction to it, the same as a computer, a printer, and everything. So it's just a tool for me. We're still far from something which is thinking by itself and giving, like creating without action, human action. So that's a topic like many people are kind of scared, especially with
Yeah,
the
indeed.
IA with image.
Yeah.
But for me, like many people are say, yeah, we shouldn't allow that with IA, like image to moderate it a lot and blah blah blah. And I really like the move of Elon Musk on that. When you go to Twitter and you use Grok, you can
Yeah.
generate very bad image. You can generate like Donald Trump kissing
Yeah. So
Putin
them.
or whatever,
It's
and
really
and this
with
is
Kamala.
normal. Yeah, yeah, or Kamala. This is normal because this is a tool, and what is making it good or bad is the input of people. The same with a knife.
Mm.
You can cut your meat or you
Exactly.
can kill someone.
Exactly.
But should we disable a knife? No, you just like teach people to use them properly.
It makes me think about the question of guns in US, but okay, that's another polemic questions. Should we ban gun? All right, man. Um, looking. Oh yeah. Do you have other? You mentioned cursor. Do you have any other tools? Do you find particularly interesting in AI tools? I mean.
Yes. Often come the question about which IA should I use, which is the best, blah blah blah. This thing.
Mm.
And this is such a stupid debate because there are tools right now out of the world that can allow you to use all of them together and just paying by calls, you know? So my favorite is from an indie maker. The name is Typing Mind. Typing Mind is a UI you download and you can use also as a website wherever you want. But this is a tool where you put your API key of Anthropic, of OpenIA, of Google, every IA possible. You put your API key in it, and you
Mm.
just pay by the number of requests you're doing. So sometimes it's a bit more expensive than 20 euros, sometimes less, depending of the model size you use. But you never are stopped because you pay by request, so you're never like using it too much. You never have a problem like, oh no, Anthropic is better than OpenIA, so I have to switch to disable my account, blah blah blah. Now I have a API key and everywhere, and the guy is super responsive. So when a new model get
Interesting.
out in less than 2 hours is inside the software. So the
Interesting.
same day the new model is released, you can use it, and and since you use API key, you're often more having things before even public, because publicly often they try to give it to developer first. So with API key, consider a developer, so you have things in advance. They integrate also like a DALI and a Stable Diffusion and stuff like that. So you have also image generation. So I really love that. Before using Cursor since yesterday, I was using Typing Mine and VS Code. So basically, I was copying each time my code into Typing Mine,
Mm.
and now I am doing it in Cursor directly. But yeah, before I was just using Typing Mine only for everything, and now I will use it only for marketing, SEO, and stuff like that.
Okay. Cool, man. Keeping in mind. We'll put the link in the
Yes.
description. Thanks. All right. So we've discussed about like massification of entrepreneurship, AI. What other trends do you see in the indie maker space?
I think there's something interesting, which is, you know, I think currently indie makers become kind of drop shipping
Mm. Yeah.
in a way, like many people who are not, the initial mindset of indie makers was really like a hackers mindset, like it's kind of, in metal music, it's kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
counterculture.
Very niche. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. And now it become a bit like more reality show, like
Yes.
people who
Yes.
come, are like more interested by the stars in the eyes than the counterculture thing. So it's
Yeah.
kind of changed a bit, and
Yeah.
I hate that and love that in the same time.
It,
But yeah, go for it.
it's good, and I have the same,
Yeah,
ambivalent feelings. Like, it's what we wanted the movement to become, like mainstream, right?
yeah,
But at the same time, it denaturates the origin, of the movement. So sometimes when, and I think it's Arvid who mentioned that, like,
yeah,
indie hacker is dead, or it's not very dead. It's like mutating. It's evolving into a more sophisticated corporate way. I don't know which word to use that, but it's formalizing. It's becoming more and more formal. It's less hacking than before.
yeah,
And so yeah, it's like when something becomes mainstream, and I have the same feeling with anything, like any topic like no code AI or whatever. When something becomes mainstream, I have this kind of rejection feeling, like, oh yeah, it's not the new cool things anymore. And I'm like also
yeah,
having this kind of double feelings about the
yeah, yeah.
mainstreamification. Yeah.
I I agree. Yeah. There are these
Right.
kind of things of the shiny object, for example, when I created the podcast in France, I was the only one. No one's talking about that now. There are like 20, 30, I don't know how much podcasts talking about indie making.
Yeah, this one
Everyone
is
is a
another one.
solopreneur. Like
Yeah.
this one is another one. Yeah, it's so I agree with you. This is kind of you feel less like a good cool kid, but I am
Yeah.
really happy about many people discovering it and opening it
Mm,
to it because it will definitely open up mind and let people think they have more opportunity than what they think. So I'm really
exactly.
happy about that. And we have many dumb people coming also, but they will learn, they will change, and sometimes
Voilà.
also, voilà. Sometimes also I think these people also bring interesting things. For example, the people coming from drop shipping, they have a
Yeah.
lot of good practices into like shipping product, finding product and stuff like that. So they are very interesting, I think,
Yeah.
to talk with and understand like what they know about business.
And actually, I'm in the also the cross, and why I wanted to start also this podcast. And I think I mentioned that in the beginning, in the intro,
Mm-hmm.
is that as Arvid said, also it's becoming more corporate. And I do believe that in this podcast, I try to bring product managers, product builders,
Mm.
sometimes CPO, from bigger
Oh yeah,
corporates, to cross the word, because I see two words, and I come from a product management background. I've also done some
yeah,
development also, and I've seen those two words communicating in parallel, but they're not communicating to each other. And I was like, okay, what if we do create a podcast where we bring the makers and the product builders with product managers, because you also have like this whole product management methodology, like all
that's
the big
cool.
guys, from Fank, Google, Amazon, they all have like product methodology. They make product management methodology better day after day because they create, they innovate. So I think those two worlds can learn from each other. We can learn from the makers, and we can learn from the product managers and in other corporates. And the way we validate an ID, we find a business ID. I like to talk about the 4 Ds of products. Like you do the discovery, then you do the design, then you do the delivery, and then the distribution, which is the go-to-market and the distribution and so on. And it's the same product life cycle for
Yeah,
an indie maker than from a corporate. And I do believe that the future of product managers lies into the execution, in the way that you can create things on your own. And it's so depressive to be a product manager and do PowerPoint and Excel and P&L, profit and loss, a balance sheet.
oh
You can
yes,
create, guys. And I was a low coder, automation guy before in consulting, and it's so great. And even when you code and the code works, that feeling is just awesome. And I do believe that when once you have tasted that, you just want more of that. And I do believe that product managers and product makers have to learn to each other, and both
yeah.
will create better things together. So that was just a manifesto. I'm going to stop there. But yeah,
No, but
that's
I agree with you. I think more and more, more we're gonna have indie makers making businesses. And I think this is the same with crypto world. Everyone saying crypto 6 months is 10 year in normal finance institution. And I think at one point, like finance institution will implement methodology of crypto because they will
Yeah.
have to go fast because the business is killing them otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think with indie makers, we do the same. We are so fast to ship. Like yesterday, the podcast of Lex Freeman with Peter Level got
I
published.
was quick.
Yeah,
I was writing Peter
and
Levels.
and this is one of the thing he's saying in the podcast, like he's committing like 500 commit a day will go in production, like no other business, like with a company like ships as fast than that. Most of people are ship like a version every 2 weeks or something like that. And same for me, I ship like 2, 3, 4 times depending on the day. I just push commit to production. And so I think this will kind of make big businesses to change the way they ship and create, because
Yep.
otherwise they're gonna die because it's impossible to compete if they stay at the speed they are. So they will
Sky's the
change
limit.
the way they're making
Exactly.
and gonna learn from
Yeah.
each other.
But it makes me think about this hype of indie making. Like, I think it was Peter Levels, and it was weird not to mention Peter Levels in a podcast about indie making.
It's an hour 30. What the fuck?
Good. And I think he was mentioning like when something in the adoption of tech, you have like Silicon Valley, and you have like I think it's hippies, like borderlines. They create something really new, and then you have like the tech guys, and then you have like the influencer, and then you have like the mainstream, and then you have the boomers, and then you have this curve of adoption, but based on social
Norms.
criteria.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that. All right, man, we are heading the end. How do you stay productive? Yeah, thanks, man. How do you stay productive, motivated, and avoid burnout?
I think it's repeating myself. This is a fucking marathon, not a race. It's important. Like that's I'm telling myself often. And sometimes like, oh, let's do that and let's do that. And I'm like, yeah, but let's keep it for tomorrow. So this, and on the other side, the following the flow, like, do today I feel working, yes or no? Okay, no, what I can do, which is, I like, I think this is a French guy, which is a friend of mine, speak about that, but I think he came from a book of an English guy or whatever. So Elliot Meunier is the guy
Yeah.
I learned the concept from. It's having a field of possibility, and in this field of possibility, every emotions of you as a productive action. So if you feel like not working in your business, maybe you feel like moving, So moving is about health, it's about body. So what you could do to move, and you feel like watching something. Okay, on the topic of watching something, what you could watch, which is help you to be a better man tomorrow. So all these things, I really use these things internally. Like I'm trying to always have something which is I call productive, but it's more than productive. It's just like bring me to be a better person and be a better place tomorrow. So I'm trying to do each action this direction.
Yeah,
And
you also you have this kind of introspection reflex. Like, is it aligned with what I want to do? And you listen to your emotions. It's kind of emotions-based action. I like that. And you make me think about, maybe you know that guy is a very popular YouTuber, but Ali Abdal, he wrote this book.
Yes.
Feel Good Productivity.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It's kind of linked with what you said, like emotion-based. Like if it does feel good, then you know, and you have a compass based on your emotions. Like, should I do it? Why it's not working like that? And I had a lot of stuff there. But I really like this book, and I'm one of the few books that I read that I read it till the end. That I read till the end. Sorry.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah,
I really love his videos.
Yeah, I like him. So yeah, emotions. Always introspection. Listen to what you said. Don't do things just because it's on the blueprint. And I think the mindset of an indie hacker for me, it's also going out of the blueprint, do something different, and also like connecting the dots from an industry to another. Because in consulting, sometimes you invent. There's a book called "Not Invented Here," so you cross pollination industries. All right, man. What Do you have like a financial objective for the upcoming years, 3 years, let's say?
I have one for the end of the year. I want to reach 15K a month with CapGo.
Okay.
So the original objective was 5,000 a month beginning of the year. So I reach it now in August, so I'm a bit late on the schedule. But it's when you aim the star, then you
Mm, exactly.
when you aim the moon, you open in the stars.
Right.
So 15,000 for the end of the year. And I've talked lately with some people told me that it's very, very doable. I probably can go to 30,000 or something like that. So I
Cool.
would like to see that happen.
20,000 per
And
month, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so a year, it's like a bit more than two. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So let's
Pretty good.
see where I can go with that business.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to create
All
like
right.
I see my so I have read a book also about that, like everything is a system, I think,
Mm.
the name of the book. And so I try to think everything as a system. And so my business, CapGo, is a system where the centerpiece where earn the most of money and where everything got attract is the SaaS. But the
Yep.
plugin, the open source and everything is like satellites to that. The freelance
Satellites.
I'm,
Yeah.
yeah, satellites. The
Satellites. Yeah.
freelance I'm doing is also satellites who feed
Yep.
the other planets and stuff. And so in the future, I want to launch also a boilerplate like Mark, but for mobile
Mm.
apps.
Nice.
Because if people start to use my boilerplate, then they will start to use CapGo. So it's
Cool.
not like the selling the boilerplate is not even the main point of making money. It's to sell the SaaS at the end. So I'm trying right now to partner with Mark or other makers doing boilerplate to do a mobile
Yep.
version of the
Stronger
boiler.
together. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
Love
don't
it.
need to make money on that, so I will just tell them I do the doc, I do the code that required to make it like portable as a mobile app, and I don't know, we share maybe a bit of money or whatever, but at the end I want to get client for CapGo. That's my main aim.
That's
So
nice. And I think there's also this concept of flying wheel, like
yes,
you do product, you
you
do
make it
media,
faster.
exactly, and then you make it everything you do, increase the speed. Yeah, exactly.
So
All
yeah,
right.
that's exactly the concept of system.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And sometimes I think it's also good to have like this freelancing that you said, once a
Yeah,
week, because it reinforces the product you build, and it goes
yeah,
that
that
way.
gives me so many
Yeah,
feedback on the situation of the
yeah,
ecosystem.
exactly.
So good.
Same with product management. When you build your own product, you understand the full stack, and then you can also improve your product management, but you can also improve your product building and the
Yeah.
product you build.
S-
And
Sometimes I'm doing freelance to install CapGo into an organization. I did that
mm,
4 times now, and
yeah,
I'm learning so much each time I do that. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad what I'm doing for them. Like most of the time, I'm like, okay, guys, first I will fix some things in CapGo and then I will install it for you because it doesn't work
exactly.
for you.
Continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Eat your own dog food. That's what I like. We mentioned the financial objective, for the upcoming years. What job would you do if I give you the double of the amount right now?
I think I will, but for sure, I know I will invest in others, indie makers. Like, I really like the rolling fund system. So I would like to give to indie makers, like for example, he's making 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
In a year, it's 12,000. So you could like give him 12,000 now and then ask him to refund a bit every month after that to give a bit of fresh air of some makers and see where they goes.
No, nice. Would you
So I
invest
would
in,
like to,
in which
yeah, yeah, invest in.
oh, sorry, I was going to ask you who who deserve that investment. What do you think?
I I think many makers deserve that. Like
Okay.
sometimes not everyone is warrior the same, or the field they have chosen is not so easy to be freelance or to understand how to do it to sell yourself. No, not everyone has the same set of competencies. So sometimes a bit of push can make a great help. So I think that can be very fun. And I don't know right now who I could help. But I will just like
Okay.
throw a bit of money on each and see what's
Awesome.
happened.
Martin, the VC of Indie Maker. That would be a nice move. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Which other job would you do if you had to do a professional reconversion?
Lately, I've done a lot of woodwork in my house. You know, I've redone the wall work.
Oh
I
yeah, I've
really
seen
like,
the picture,
yeah,
the sink.
I really, yeah, this thing you've seen like my fail compilation.
Love it.
But you know, sometimes like you feel so smart. You know, I measure everything. I put I cut the wood, and then I realize, yeah, I bought a sink which is as round corner. So when I cut it square, and then I have 1 centimeters missing on every corner. Uh, but yeah, so I like to do work outside. Like I have a project here to do a eco village and create a village from natural material. So something I would like to do, if I'm not like needing to do a lot of code, and for sure in like few years I don't want to be in front of computer most of the time. I want to do work outside, especially here in Madeira. It's like very nice weather all year long. So I would like to build natural building and teach people to do that because I believe we've been very far from using the material we have in the world to standardize a lot the way of we live, like with house and stuff. And so I really believe we can relearn to use better the material we have and have passive houses. So it means like you don't need a heater, you don't need AC because you build the house in a way which is smart enough to not need that. So I really believe in that, and I would like to be an artisan at the end.
Good, another craftsman. I love it. I
Yes.
love it. Wood. You make me think about another movement. It's called with the tiny house. It's not tiny house anymore, but the low tech movement.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's
What about
exactly that, yeah.
exactly? It's perfect. Low is the new high.
Yeah,
Low is cool.
I mean, in my house, I really like to do automatization, for example, for lights, for door. It makes sense to unlock the door automatically or have a thing to unlock for your friend. That makes sense. But put AC where with material you can have the same effect. This is dumb. It doesn't make sense for me. It's like the wrong, it's like reinventing the wheel, like we
Exactly.
had
Yeah.
material, you just like put a thicker wood, window, good orientation, and then you have always good temperature in your house.
Yeah.
That is the right way. And reinventing the wheel is putting AC and heater. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? It's like,
And we go back to the beginning of the episode because it's simplicity. It's
yes,
clarity.
exactly.
It's simplicity. Why would you overthink, make something? Just use what you have, reuse things, repurpose things. And low tech is a good movement for that because it's efficiency in the end.
Yeah,
It's all about efficiency.
Funnily, these things made me think from a very, very funny. I don't know if you will want that in the podcast, but that's a funny moment I had in my life a long time ago when I was living in Paris. I was going to Parisian night and stuff like that, and people take drugs in Parisian night, a lot of drugs. And a guy was like, "Yeah, I take cocaine," and I was like, then after I'm like too up, so I need to go down a bit and chill, so I smoke a joint. And I'm like, in the first place, if you didn't do the first one, then you didn't need the second one either.
Exactly.
Like, and the heater and the AC make me think about that. It's like, it's so dumb. It's like, don't do both and just do you're good.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. I love it. We'll keep it. We'll keep it. We'll keep
Okay.
it. I love it. I love it. No cut. My idea of the podcast was like no cut. Okay, but today it's very exceptional. I think I'm gonna have to.
I wish I will send the episode to this person because he's still my friend. You will love.
I will love, man. That's awesome.
The good part is he went to simplicity. No, he don't do it.
Yes, but it's all about simplicity.
Yes.
Don't overkill yourself, especially with drugs. All right, man. Final words. We are heading to the end. So I will ask you a couple of questions, but you can answer more quickly because it's the last questions. All right. The questions you wished I asked, but I didn't.
Wow, that's a hard one. You're hardcore on that one. The question I wish you asked. Do you have good answer on that? Usually, I,
No,
I had a client who asked me the same, but when he's the client, like do there something I should have asked you? And yeah, then I know to answer. But now to sell myself, I don't know. I think there are one question that's kind of obvious is like, I am happy about my choice? And
it was one of my questions, but I was like, it looks so obvious. I didn't ask.
yeah,
Are you happier as a product, as a indie maker? That was one
yes,
question.
I am. And even when I was in the deep shit in December, things were very complex in December. I had no money. My mom was here. I was no time to spend with my mom, who came just to see me.
Yeah,
In the same
yeah,
time, my dad did a crisis. He become like I don't know. I had to call
yeah.
police and doctor to
Family,
put him in a hospital because he had mental problem. I don't know what
family
happened.
duty. Yeah,
Yeah, so you imagine like the pressure I had, and my mom was like, "Yeah, but that's why you're doing that? Why you doing that?" Like she was mad at me because she saw me. I was drowning, like I was dying inside.
yeah,
And I told her, "This is the life I've chosen. I really like this life. I know that I've drawn back. I know right now I'm like in deep shit, and I want to cry my ass off, and I did
yeah.
cry. But this is the life I've chosen. I really like this life."
You make me think about another song. I love it from Frank Sinatra. That's Life, and I love that song. I rediscovered it because it's in the Joker. You know Joker, the movie
Oh,
with Joaquin
yeah.
Phoenix. It's in the trailer. So
Oh, nice.
love that song. It's exactly what you said. It's all about life. It's like ups and downs. It's repeating. It's like I've done this and that and here, and finally find a way. And if I don't find a way, I just go away. So it's exactly what you were
Yeah.
saying. So yeah, man, keep going. Frank Sinatra. All right.
Thanks for that one.
Okay. Where are you in 5 years and what do you do?
Where I am in 5 years and what do I do? Definitely in 5 years, I am doing mainly in Naturopia, which is my project of Eco Village. So we have the land already, and now we are like
Oh, you bought the
going to
land?
get.
Or you have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
rent it?
We bought it already because I'm doing that with other friends. We are like having a lot of money enough to buy a land cash.
Yeah, nice.
So we got the
Congrats.
land. Yeah. But the problem now is to get approval and understand Portuguese system and everything.
Yeah,
So in five
yeah.
years, I hope I am living in this land with the tiny village we've built and yeah, creating an ecosystem, creating something like I don't know if you've listened to the podcast with John Rush. We got released this week. We
Not yet.
talked
Is it about
together. Yeah,
protocol? Something valuable? No.
yeah, I mean, no, the link is more so for him is like niche product because you don't he bought a lot of them, but we talk a lot about the eco village idea because
Yeah,
he want to do that as well in Portugal maybe. So I invite him to come in Madeira to see because that's what I
nice.
want to do.
It's kind of trendy, right? It's not a new trend because I think Elliot Meunier, you mentioned, is doing that thing too, right? Am I wrong? Is it the guy?
Yes, he is doing
Yeah,
that with my best friend.
yeah. Voilà, yeah, exactly. So I was like, it makes me think about another guy. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's him.
But
Yeah,
Charlie and Elliot doing ecologic village. Me, I wanted to do an ecologic village, but I think it's going more and more to become an indie maker village, ecologic
ah,
indie maker village.
man. Can I
Uh,
come
because
when it's
oh
done?
yeah, yes, please. Well, because John Rush gave me the idea, and I really like this. Like, I want to do a community for myself. Like, having a friend online is cool, but having friend like
Yeah,
in real
that's
life, it
something
would be
else.
cooler.
Yeah, and you made me think about two things. I think was Jean-Charles Kurdali. I was thinking about like um,
Yes.
uh, buying a house with friends in the same little village in France somewhere. And another great movie that was also on Netflix. It's all about an Italian guy, and they bought. And I always
Uh,
had that
the
dream.
the the platform.
L'île, yes, the platform.
Yeah,
It's L'île de la Rose in French. It's like the Rose Island, something like that.
yeah, Rose Island. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. And actually, it's in the what is that? International ocean,
Yeah.
international yeah seas.
They got in trouble because of that, but yeah.
They got in trouble, and there is always, and I also have this in my mind, like one day we're gonna buy a land and we're gonna invite our people. Where are my people? Let's go.
Yeah.
That would be
Well,
awesome.
I think Jean-Charles is probably going also to the eco village of Charlie and Elliot because they are friends. I mean, yeah, I know them as well. It's funny. It's like a tiny world in a way,
Yeah,
in
it
the
is.
end, like
Yeah.
I don't know if you have seen. Yeah, I think you've seen the podcast probably of me and Jean-Charles, and we did after that coaching together. So he coached me
Oh, you did.
for
Cool. That's great.
so for 6 time, I think, until I quit my job. I quit my the co-founder. I was co-founder of a company, and I quit to become the entrepreneur I am now because of the coaching I did.
Cool.
And the whole coaching is on YouTube, so you can see all episodes of me being coached by Jean-Charles.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh man, I didn't know that. Do you have the link? Maybe you're gonna put the link in the description because I love it.
in
I've done.
YouTube, in YouTube, I will send
Okay,
it to
well,
you.
thanks, man. Writing this down, otherwise I will forget about it. And yeah, the coaching session. I've done coaching too. Pretty interesting. Sometimes it's a bit intimidating, so I don't know if I would dare to put that on YouTube. But yeah, very interesting too. Because
Yeah.
you go deep,
Jean-Charles was like,
introspection.
"What the fuck?
Yeah,
You're like crazy, dude." So yeah, I went deep and I had no limit. So if you want to know everything about my life, my struggle at this time, and my past story, you go to this. I never been more vulnerable than in this podcast, in this episode
anything
of.
online.
Yeah, I
Crazy,
posted that.
cool, so
I
cool, man,
posted that.
so cool. Don't you think people can read that and then try to trap you or to try to? No, I don't. If you
Oh, there
in a
are
certain
also
point, you,
there's something in my personality like I don't believe in evil. I don't believe people in evil.
hmm.
And so
Elgo?
because I don't believe in it, it doesn't happen to me.
Ah, yeah.
I believe everyone is a nice person.
Yeah, the I think it's a good mindset because if you naturally you're gonna attract people who think alike. Right?
Yes, and even if people manage to do bad action, I still believe this is a bad action, but they are still a nice person.
Yeah, I decorate to behavior and people.
Yeah,
Sometimes I don't. I blame behaviors, but I don't blame the person. Sometimes
yeah,
just about okay to forgive. We don't know what they do, something like that. But you have to forgive a lot and move on. And actually, sometimes, as I
yeah.
said, you have to
And and
decorate
and this is
behavior.
like if you want to do an experiment, like next time you do something shitty, like you shouldn't. For example, last week I was building my kitchen, and it was 9 p.m. and I was cutting wood, with
Yeah.
the circular. I don't know the name in English, but the things make
Yeah.
shit big noise. And I was on the balcony cutting, and I forgot it was 9 p.m., It's like stay sun long in Madeira, and during the days it was too hot to work. So the guy get out of his window in top of me and he starts to scream at me, like
Oh,
insult me, like, what the fuck? Which country you think in? You don't learn how to behave in your own country. He was super mad.
oh yeah.
And I look at him and I could get mad. I could tell him like, go fuck yourself,
Yeah.
I'm working night. I cannot do any time. It was too hot today, whatever. I just say nothing. And at the end, so I just listen to him. This is something very important. Like listen to fucking people, especially when they are
Yeah.
annoyed. Listen
Yeah.
to him like for 5 minutes. He was screaming at me. And at the end, I say, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. This is not the things I should do. I just felt like it was too hot during the day and I did that a bit too late. I went late in Ramadan, but you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at me and he stopped being mad and he say, okay, finish quickly, but after you stop. I say,
So
okay, thanks.
in 1 sec, you decrease the level of pressure.
Yeah. It's just like listen to people. Sometimes they don't feel great. They will be super aggressive. But if you just
Yeah.
fight back, they're gonna fight. But if you don't fight, people stop fighting. They feel
Exactly.
awkward fighting alone.
Yeah. That's a very good advice. I like that mindset too. And I was thinking about another lesson I've learned like that. Okay, I don't get it. I don't get it. Shit, I lost it. Okay,
It's
don't
fine.
worry. It's in the same
Yeah.
spirit. Like, just have to say, hey, you have to listen where the bad
Yeah.
people, and then it's okay. All right, man. Who are your favorite creators, builders? indie makers?
I like a lot Piotr Level, but it's kind of obvious
Yeah.
things. But I, I don't, I don't like him as I'm a fan. It's more like I have a few interaction with him on Twitter, and I like having fun with him online.
Yeah.
So I
I've
like
seen that.
him. I have the same with Mark. I really like sometimes kind of having word with him and tell him like, oh man, you're doing shit, like what the fuck, or we have fun. So I think like there's something in me, like I'm not like putting people on pedestal. I'm very human towards people and speak with them. So people answer and then become friend with them. So most of people I really like, I talk with them most of the time. Like in France, I really like Oussama Hamar. Even
Yeah.
he got like in deep shit and he did shit, of course. Like now more and more he knows. But for me, this doesn't mean like you have to cancel someone. Like especially in entrepreneurship, he didn't kill anyone. He just mismanaged things for sure. But
Mm.
yeah, I like to interact with him as well. I like few people like
Yeah, it was amazing. I watched so many. I was listening. Oh yeah, I listened to so many podcasts. Coup d'etat and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
good
I
old
mean,
days. Yeah.
he gave me so much of knowledge for free.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I agree. He didn't do everything perfectly, far from that. But I am not either, and no one I believe.
Nobody's perfect.
And if he's willing to pay what he has to pay and do the things and fight with lawyers and find the right things, because I do believe no one is white on black in this story. So he seems to be willing to go to a direction of resolution. So for me, this is enough. Like.
Mm.
That happened to me many times. I don't ask permission, I do things, and then people get mad and like go after me, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, fine. Sometimes, I go too fast in the car, and then I go receive a fine.
Yeah.
Do that
Are
make me
you
a bad
you
person?
make
No,
noise at 9 p.m. in another country and then
yeah,
still
yeah. You see, you will be a bad person if you don't assume you did bad, and you're like, no,
yep.
no, no, I will never pay, and whatever. No, just okay, accept you are an
Yeah.
imperfect person, you did
Looks
shit, and
like
you pay for it.
exactly. It looks like the concept of responsibility. Right? You
Exactly.
assume your act. You have to assume. Assume. I don't know if it's assume in English. Sorry, assume.
Yeah,
It's
I think it's
another
the
meaning.
Francization of.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a false friend. Don't think that, guys. I was going to say you have to be
Own it.
accountable about. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
be
to
accountable.
own
Yeah,
about your actions, and if you are, then okay, you are responsible. Otherwise, you're just someone who try to
yeah.
hide the truth or to hide something, and that's not good, not clever. I mean, I'm not giving moral here, no more moral lessons. I'm not going to do that. Okay, okay, man. Your favorite non-fiction book or non-fiction business books?
Non-fiction book. My favorite. They have two. I really like a basic one, Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. That was the first book I read in English and teach me so much about life and English. So
Okay.
that was a game changer in my life. And the first book I really liked to enjoy because for a long time I got traumatism, like I couldn't read books because in school we were forced to read books
Yeah.
and books I don't like. So I decided I don't like reading. It was wrong. No, I like to read a lot. So the first one was Eragon. It's a story about a guy with a dragon, and I really
Okay.
like this book. I read like the 3 or 4 books or 5 books. I don't remember how many books there are, but I read all of them, and I really enjoy this book. Like, that was my non-fiction book. I think my series, the favorite. I mean, the only one I read also. But yeah, this and Paulo Coelho.
Okay. Business books. Any?
Business books. I think the one about the mayors is very game changer.
Yeah, I'm gonna bet that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and the system, the one about system,
Yeah.
everything is a system. This one gives me a lot of peace, especially in France where, we have the mindset of like, the system is bad, everything is bad, politics are bad, blah, blah, blah. And when you read this book about systems and you understand how things work, you understand like if what we believe is bad is because every tiny element don't behave as we wanted. So change your own behavior and the system will change. And so now I stop blaming the system. I blame myself. Like what I'm doing wrong. Okay, if I improve, the system will improve because system depends on every tiny elements.
Did you read the book of Peter Levels, Mick?
I think I did one or two chapters, but I didn't read everything. I bought it.
Same.
I have it.
Yeah, a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Your favorite podcast?
Mine. No. In fact, having your own podcast is so cool because you can invite everyone you want to talk with, and you have the best excuse as you.
Yeah. I think it inspired me so much. I think it's the same strategy here. It's free coaching, right? It's free mentoring.
Yeah, definitely. Free mentoring. And you know, at the end of Indie Maker, I was even making people pay to come to the podcast. So it was like, they pay me.
Come on. Really? Man.
Yes.
Did you ever think about sponsoring or making money with the podcast?
I didn't want it. The only thing I was telling them is like, okay, I'm paying like by episode 250, I think. So we can split, or if you want, like to support the episode because this is the cost of production. And most people paid half, and some people paid fully. They were like, "Yeah, I paid for it, no worries."
You told me, I think you mentioned that in one of your podcasts. Yeah, exactly. And because the guy and then all the post prod and stuff like, not buy me a coffee, like you never monetize in another way, just like that. Okay, so maybe your favorite episode, maybe.
I have currently one podcast I listen. Is the one with Oussama Amar and Yomi Denzel. Sans permission. In French. I like it because for the first time, they do something I hate and love in the same time in the podcast. They invite people I will never listen a second of them. You know, there are some people they're doing like shit. I hate them just looking at their face.
That's what they do. Okay. They create polemic.
Polemic, or they just want to have different opinion to get better. And I know for fact, like confronting yourself to different opinion make you a better person.
Different perspective,
each time they do that, I'm like, fuck, this guy look like for example, the one I hate the most in the people they invite is Lamenas, I think. His whole idea is like you have to be a strong man and blah blah blah, and he's Russian, he's pro-Putin, everything he's saying. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna slap you in the face. You know, it's this kind of feeling I have. And I listened to him, and in fact, he's not dumb guy. He's a very smart guy, and it was very interesting to listen about him. Like, of course, I don't like what he's doing, but he's doing it in a smart way, and that was very interesting.
Like a kind of Andrew Tate kind of guy.
Oh yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. I will check. Okay, man. All right. So the last questions. Okay, next people you'd like to hear in the podcast. That's one to come from you.
Yes, I know this question. I know this question.
It's a great question.
That was the first one who lead me to a very, very famous people in the podcast.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you Marc Louvion, but he just told me yesterday you don't want to go in a podcast for a year.
Yeah.
So who? I think a good person could be Melvin, the guy which is a developer also, and he's trying to do his own businesses. He's YouTuber. He's very interesting. I like Melvin, or you have also Thibaut Houdon. Thibaut Houdon is a very big teacher on Udemy in France, and he's a very cool guy, and I like his philosophy, and so I really like both of them. And I think of them together because they just released a podcast together a week ago. So.
Cool. They speak English?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Oh, very last question, sorry, but very classical. Where can we find you?
On Twitter, guys. On Twitter. Like, when you know me, I was on LinkedIn. I was a lot of active in LinkedIn, but then I quit LinkedIn because it was too corporate for me. I am doing my comeback lately. Just in my post.
I do think that corpo will change, will adapt. But as we said,
Yeah.
the same discussion like the maker is gonna mutate toward that direction. So, yeah, you should. And I'm the first one to follow you there because it's so funny to see you there. And this is why I commented, because nobody was commenting. Was like, yo, you only have like so few likes, but on X you're like kind of a legend, you know. And I was like, come on. And I put this statistics about Gumroad, and I was like, yeah, let's talk about that.
Before
Numbers.
I was very good on LinkedIn because I was regular, and but yeah, times change and I let the game pass. So I will have to. The thing is, I don't like the post anymore on LinkedIn. So if you want to be good at posting, you have to understand the game and to be in the game. And for that, on LinkedIn, it will be a bit harder for me.
The rules are changed a bit. Now it's more like here's a list of things, it's a lot of list frameworks, resource libraries. Before it was more like
storytelling,
you know?
Yeah,
storytelling, opinions. More no, it's more like tutorials, but in I don't know, in nuggets. Yeah. See what you mean?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, man.
Thanks for the tips. I will try next episode to publish it as a tutorial.
Yes. I will follow you. I will like it. Thanks, man. All right, that was the last question.
Thanks for that.
Okay.
And follow this podcast if you enjoy it.
Thanks.